Da 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 da, royalty free music coming in right here. Okay, so before we get into it, hello world. I didn't want to finish season one without doing at least one episode on camera. So here we are at the desk. This is kind of the setup that I've had for on camera stuff, but um, it's very low budget, extremely. It like the mic, the camera, you know, all of that was like plug and play Timu stuff. But then I got the OBS, studio here to try to make it a little better. But so I'm doing the best I can with what I got, and that's the point. This wasn't ever about looking like a finished studio or about image. Uh, but yeah, should I make the Sprite joke? But it's about the work. It's about taking what we have, where we are, with what's available, and building anyway. Right, same material, new purpose. And I'm doing this in one shot. I'm gonna try to anyway. Fuck it. It's hard to get a clean like 3 or 4 hour recording window in a house full of dudes that are just living their lives. So if you hear somebody laughing in the background, or if you hear life, happening off camera, no problem. It's just life. But and some of it brings me joy, particularly when one of the guys, he's just an older dude that laughs cartoonish, and if I get his permission, I'll definitely put him in like a visual essay or something. But one shot at the desk here. So this is Reforged. I'm Nick. And let me say this like a human being. Season one's done. That's it. It's not dead, but it's done. Those aren't the same. I mean, I'm not abandoning it, but the foundation's been laid. The concrete is setting. And if I keep poking at it, then it's not really going to be doing much. That would just be disturbing the work, and I don't want to do that. So now I've got like what I'm just going to refer to as the canon, right? The 8 canonical first season of Reforged. It's not perfect. It's not untouchable, but it's not polished into nothing. It's foundational. So those are the origin record. And if somebody wants the long form record, then season one's just where I can send them to, and that's not small. And before I go further from here, I want to say thank you to you, whoever you are. Seriously, to anybody who has listened to this, to anybody who's encouraged it, to anybody who has shared something, who's put it in front of other people, anybody who's commented, and I'm pretty sure that I've engaged with every comment. I mean, there haven't been thousands, but and I'll continue to do that. Everybody's welcome to the Forge. Anybody who's given me feedback, or really, if anytime somebody tells me that like a line landed and now it like affects their daily life, that's what really matters. It's just I share perspective, ask people to examine particular situations, and then they do, and so and then they give that back to me, and it's like, okay, so then it's human. Like these things that I'm looking at are you know um are relatable to other people, men and women alike. So that's been kind of cool. So comments, aren't just comments to me. It's somebody, that's somebody telling me to keep going. Whether the comment is negative or positive, doesn't matter. It's the same message to me. Um, and then, so also, since this is a finale, quick callback. I did hear back from the basis of Echo Trend, um, but like the company, or the record company, is defunct. So that's going to be like a whole path of digging to be able to use their track "Light the Fire." And it's EKOTREN if you want to look them up. The song "Light the Fire," but I think it fits perfectly well. I wouldn't obviously use the whole track, but anyways, cheap setup, cheap setup here. The idea is what's growing. Um, and then the physical parts of Reforged are too. And let me say this though, I'm proud of what we're building here. It's really something, and I'm very proud. The Forge is white hot right now. Men are leaning in. The gym is alive. The language is starting to spread, right? And the house is starting to feel the shape of something real. And when something is that alive, you want to protect it. But I got to name this. I made an executive decision a few days ago that were kind of outside my scope. And I moved fast. I saw a problem. I responded. I thought I was being correct. And even if my intentions were pointed at protection, the execution still mattered. I believe the phrase that was used is I got ahead of my skis. And it almost cost me everything that I started building, you know, and that made me sick. Like the gym, the trust, the runway, the current form of Reforged, with I'd say the first cohort, of dudes, and the thought of losing all that, yeah, it made me physically sick for a couple of days, and because I've poured, you know, everything into this with the encouragement and support of everybody around me, and then when it started to feel like some of that support was being withdrawn, that that just wow, so it made me kind of examine some things, and then it even crossed my mind about I don't know about quitting, not like hanging it up, but just stopping and saying like I'll resume later, but isn't that made me even sicker. That that yeah, that wasn't gonna work for me either, and life has been fucking stressful lately. Like there's the collision, there's all the employment stuff, the lawsuits, the uncertainty, the relationship, trying to build this doctrine, um, trying to keep moving while everything is unresolved. And that can make a man go a bit nutty. That's not an excuse, but it's definitely true. So when the thought of quitting started showing up, that made me absolutely, no, I can't do that. And it's not because I need to prove everybody wrong, I mean that like I am no longer interested in proving wrong the people who doubt me or don't support me. It is the people who believe in it, the people who support it, the people who see it for what it is. Um, like that's the people that I want to prove correctly. So in my own life, urgency doesn't necessarily equate wisdom, and I had to name that. I had to examine that and correct it and move on with the rest of my life. It's really that simple. It's not just something I say to other men, right? The standard comes home. It lives right here. And after a grounded conversation with the operations administration, a clearer line has now been established. We're working towards repair, and that matters because Reforged can't preach governance and then become reckless in the name of mission, or talk about accountability and then hide behind, good intentions, whatever that means. So I can't sit here and say evidence over narrative and then ask everybody to judge me only by what I meant. that that's not it. Intentions do matter, but I would argue that execution matters perhaps a little bit more. Scope matters. The trust matters, right? So I'm proud. I'm deeply proud. And I'm also grateful. And I'm also corrected. And that's part of the work. The forge is hot, man. It's hot. It's white hot. And that doesn't mean I'm just going to start swinging the hammer blind either. Name it, examine it, correct it. Okay. Uh, some uh, some of that, I think, some of that correction for me now is going to be just kind of recentering myself as a person, as an individual within the Reforged realm. I think, not as just the guy building Reforged, not just as the guy like you know spewing out all this doctrine or trying to turn every experience into a framework. But I need creative, expressive work too, as an individual, as one man, as a human being. And some of that may become Reforged content, and it definitely will. I mean, it's going to come out on the Reforged page. But some of it might not be directly Reforged. It might just be my expression, and that's fine too. I don't want Reforged to just become another cage, right? That would be insane. Build a thing about freedom, structure, responsibility, and correction, and then make it so rigid that I can't breathe inside of it. That's not the move. Um, And this is, Reforged isn't me trying to hand the world a belief system and say, subscribe to this. There is no subscription in Reforged. And I mean, ideologically or spiritually or anything like that. I mean, hopefully we do get some options for monetary subscriptions because we got to keep the lights on. But I'm not trying to replace, anybody's recovery program. I'm not trying to tell you what doctrine you must believe. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to think like me. And honestly, please don't. One of me is probably plenty. You can ask around. But what I'm saying is this: a man has to take his own life seriously enough to build a defensible position. He has to look at what formed him. He has to look at what he's done objectively, right? He has to look at what it cost him. He has to look at who else paid for that. And he has to decide what standard he is going to live under. And then he has to produce evidence of that standard. Maybe part of this came from my inability to fully fold into normal recovery language. It's possible. Maybe I needed something that could hold recovery, reentry, accountability, discipline, faith questions, legal questions, fitness, employment, and personal construction inside the same frame. Or maybe I'm just a guy who has to forge his own path. Not because I'm special. I'm not. I don't really think anybody is in particular. Not because I'm above being corrected. I'm not. But if the path in front of me doesn't get me home, I still have to get home. So forge your path, but govern your steps. So here's the move. The podcast isn't going away. The message isn't changing. Uh, the standard certainly isn't changing. Once it's met, it increases, and that's the cadence. But the rhythm will change. Season 1 was doctrine. What comes next is going to be more demonstration. The podcast is going to give us the foundation. But now the work is asking to be lived, filmed, documented, tested, built. YouTube's become quite a bit of a front door lately. The podcast stays the foundation. Working on some character creations to make archetypes of some of the guys until I have like clear written permission with supervision to get them onto stuff. But and LinkedIn is actually going to become part of the credibility layer too. Like I'm on there. I've reached out with some people. It's tough because everybody's got an idea of how to fix reentry, and everybody wants their idea to be the thing. Everybody's out there trying to sell something. I'm just asking the guys who are inside to start asking themselves some tough questions. Because in my view, the solution to reentry isn't having a place for a guy to land when he gets out. That should, like, I understand that a dude needs a place to land, but the work that is required of him in order to be successful, or at the very least non-destructive upon release and continued after, that work has to begin the day he's in handcuffs, man. So 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 I'm trying to push that kind of idea out there. Community work becomes part of the test. Program development becomes part of the structure. Employment, reentry, legal pursuits, fitness, creative work, all of that's part of the mission. It's not scattered activity. It's just different lanes of the same work. And and I'll be clear about this. Making a podcast episode takes some time. Making YouTube content takes time. Writing, recording, editing, uploading, learning the tools. improving the form, and trying to make sure that the thing is actually, represents what I meant to say. I'm getting better at all of it. I am. And some of it's been really fun to mess with when you think of how creative a person can be with things they would want to see on screen. And then if you take just AI that knows that person, it it's insane. It's insane. So it's say it's not art, but I think it's just a kind of a new kind of art form. Um, but anyways, uh, but I'm getting better doesn't mean that like I can just go give full intensity to every lane at the same time without something suffering, right? I don't want the podcast to suffer from all of the external pressure that's going on in life, plus the some of the different lanes that are opening up in terms of Reforged exposure. So I'm going to let the first 8 episodes become that catalog, uh, and just kind of let those breathe. Let let a person not be buried in. Because if you go to Joe Rogan's page, you're like, hey, and not to say that I would ever be that popular. I mean, but like you go to his page and you're like, which episode should I start with? There's so many. I'm gonna uh, let those breathe, and then I've been given runway. The runway is still there. There's I've got time. I've got some space. I've got some trust. I've got some opportunity. I've got a place where this thing is starting to take shape, and it is. I'm excited to share a lot of that with you guys, supporters who say keep going. Um, just listeners that are starting to follow the thread. It matters. It all matters. So the question now is, can I build it? Can I turn this thing? Can I turn doctrine into programming? Right? Can I work with these guys? Can I document the process ethically? Can I do outreach? Can I keep moving in the community? That's the work for at least for me moving forward. And because Reforged is starting to become something in the house, I got to be careful. Men aren't props. Their struggle isn't some marketing material, and their progress isn't mine to exploit. You know, do I want proof of concept? Absolutely, but not anything inflated or nothing like that. This whole thing is about. This all started just because I had ethical objections to how I was being treated. I was texting my brother yesterday. I said I just want to be treated appropriately, not not differently, not special. And hell, I don't even want to be treated well if being treated well isn't deserved in the moment, right? Treat me appropriately. And I think that's the kind of the best that a guy could ask for. But if you are watching this on YouTube, I'm learning. If you have editing notes, audio notes, lighting notes, pacing notes, drop them. I can take it. I can take it. I mean, you're allowed to be wrong. No, this setup isn't ideal, but I did it. I mean, I made it. So that's cool. But yeah, if there was something that would make this cleaner, you know what I mean, easier to hear. I imagine when I move like this and stuff, I probably lost some of you along the way, but who cares? Like this is, I mean, not like that, but like, I mean, did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear that laughter? But the record, part of building in public is letting people see the improvements. And the first version isn't supposed to look like the 10th version, but the record should show correction. Start with what you have, tell the truth about where you are, build evidence, correct the pattern, improve the form, and keep moving. So stay tuned, stick around, go to YouTube. It's at Reforged 402. Um, bring people, share the work, bring people back here. Let the podcast be the foundation and let the videos become the front door. Updates will be forthcoming as the program develops. I'll update, obviously. That this work is available. So, leave a comment if we can figure out a landing page or something like that. If there becomes a demand for more interactive content, then I'll definitely start to build it, or at least figure it out with Abe. So, um, so we'll pull from them. Like I'm going to pull from those episodes, and then we can zoom in. So if you're new here, go back. Start with the first 8. It's not perfect. It's got fingerprints all over it. So do I. So does the whole thing, but it's honest. The podcast will return. I don't know exactly when, and I'm not going to manufacture a date just to make it sound cleaner. When season 2 comes, I want it to have weight, more evidence, more life, more voices, I think. More work on the record. But until then, this is the bridge. Season 1 is the doctrine. What comes next is more demonstration. The platform shifts. The mission doesn't. So I'm going to let the podcast breathe. But the work continues. The house is moving. The program is forming. The outreach is coming. The catalog is standing. Right? The runway is being used. So, yeah, this has been season 1 of Reforged. To listeners, supporters, encouragers, people who helped, get this thing its first legs under it. The foundation's laid. Thank you. Now let it breathe. Now we use the runway. Now we show the work. Same material, new purpose. Name it, examine it, correct it. Ignore the anecdotes. I'll see you in the work.